Bonjour à tous and welcome to this lesson on the French negative jamais, which means never. Now before you begin, I need you to make sure that you are completely clued up with the negative pas, because once you understand that one, jamais should be very, very easy. And also I went through some things in that video that I'm not going to go through in this one. If, however, you're happy with pas, then you can carry on and learn all about jamais. So if you've got to grips with pas, then jamais should be very, very easy because structurally they are the same. You take your verb and surround it with ne and jamais. So for example, tu pleures is you cry, tu ne pleures jamais is you never cry. So our verb here is the tu form of pleurer, pleure, and we've put a ne and a jamais around it. Be careful not to make the mistake that a lot of people do once they've learned pas. They suddenly start using pas and jamais together and they'll say tu ne pleures pas jamais. That is not correct. You don't need the pas. Jamais replaces the pas. Similarly, il pleut tout le temps is it rains all the time, and il ne pleut jamais is it never rains. So that's, once again, the simple tenses, the tenses made up of a subject and a verb. But what about compound tenses where we have auxiliaries and past participles? Well, like I said before, ne jamais is structurally the same as ne pas. So if you remember with pas, we surrounded the auxiliary verb. The same goes for jamais. So je l'ai vu is I saw him, and je ne l'ai jamais vu is I have never seen him. So yes, we have the L apostrophe here, which might confuse things a little bit, but you could take that out and the word order would still be the same. The point is that we surround the auxiliary with our ne and jamais. Similarly, on s'est rencontré is we have met, and on ne s'est jamais rencontré is we have never met. So once again we have that extra pronoun in the S apostrophe, but that's okay. Again, you could take that out and you would still have the right word order. One other thing that you actually can't do with pas is put jamais at the start of a sentence. And in that case, you get a sort of very formal, slightly poetic sounding negative. So you could say, jamais je ne t'oublierai. And that is, never will I forget you. So in English and French, this is really rather formal, but you can do it if you really want to. Just notice that in French, we have the jamais at the start, but we still have the ne after the subject. You could also say, jamais on a vu, jamais on ne verra, never have we seen, never will we see, and these are actually the lyrics to a nursery rhyme in French about La Famille Tortue. I'll make sure I put a link to that sick beat in the description because it's definitely one to listen to. Once again, notice we have the jamais at the start, but the ne straight after the subject. Of course, as I said in the part video, you can omit this ne in casual speech, but in writing and formal situations, you should certainly include it. Finally, one slightly more advanced thing is that jamais is also the word that the French use for ever. Never and ever in French aren't really any different, except for the fact that jamais means ever when it's not got a ne with it. So for example, you could say, c'est le meilleur film que j'ai jamais vu. That isn't, it's the best film that I've never seen, but the best film that I've ever seen. And notice that there is no ne in sight this time. Also notice that this particular expression uses the subjunctive, so it's definitely a slightly more advanced thing, and if you're only just learning about negatives, this isn't all that important. For those of you who are interested though, another example could be La baleine bleue est le plus grand animal qui ait jamais vécu. Again, no ne, so the jamais means ever. This is the blue whale is the biggest animal ever to have lived. So there we go. Like I said, if you're familiar with pas, jamais shouldn't be too difficult. However, of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And as always, à bientôt.